Hey there, friends. Welcome to another episode of the Productive Entrepreneur Podcast. I'm Tanya Kendrick, and today we're talking about a technique that could significantly improve the way you manage your time and boost your productivity: time blocking. You're listening to the Productive Entrepreneur Podcast. I'm your host, Tanya Kendrick, and I'm on a mission to help online business owners like you focus on the right things and take imperfect action. Every week, you'll get my best tips on everything from time management and content creation to planning effectively and managing mindset issues, all in an effort to help you become more productive. So let's jump into this episode. Before we get started, let me mention that you'll find the show notes for this episode at tanyakendrick.com/18. I also have a free time blocking mistakes guide that you can grab. In it, I've pulled together 5 common mistakes that people often make when they try to implement time blocking. And of course, it doesn't just include the mistakes because that's not helpful. I also share tips on how to fix each one. You'll find that guide in the show notes as well. Let's kick off things with a scenario I'm sure you can relate to. It's early morning and you've just grabbed your phone to start the day. As you scroll through your notifications, your heart sinks. Your calendar is packed with back-to-back Zoom calls. Your to-do list seems like it's grown overnight. There are urgent emails demanding your attention, client calls to prepare for, and oh yeah, don't forget about those invoices you need to get out by the end of the day. Your mind starts racing. How can you possibly fit it all in? When will you have time to work on that new project that you're so excited about? And let's not even mention finding time for a real lunch break or that yoga session that you promised yourself. Does this sound familiar? We've all been there. It's that place where we're drowning in tasks, we're constantly playing catch up, and we can never quite get ahead. It's exhausting. And the worst part, it feels like there's no way out, like constant hustling is the only option. But here's the thing. It doesn't have to be this way. There's a method that can help you take control of your day, focus on what truly matters, and even carve out time for those important but not urgent tasks that often get pushed to the back burner. It's called time blocking, and it's about to become your new best friend. So what exactly is time blocking? Well, let me give you a metaphor to help you picture it. Think of it as creating a personalized itinerary for your vacation. Instead of having a vague idea of what you might want to do each day, time blocking is like mapping out your activities hour by hour. Imagine your workday as a trip to a new city. Without a plan, you might just wander aimlessly, maybe seeing a few sights, but missing out on the best experiences. You could end up spending too much time in one spot and neglecting other areas completely. Now picture this instead. You've got a thoughtfully crafted itinerary. From 9 to 10, you're exploring the historic downtown. From 10 to 11:30, you're visiting that must-see museum. You've scheduled lunch at that highly recommended local cafe from noon to 1. In the afternoon, you've set aside time for shopping, followed by a relaxing hour in the park before dinner. That's what time blocking does for your workday. Instead of tackling tasks haphazardly as they come up, you're assigning specific activities to dedicated time slots. You create a structured plan that ensures you hit all the important sites in your workday. This maximizes your productivity and minimizes wasted time. Here's a simple example. Instead of checking your emails sporadically throughout the day, come on, we've all been guilty of this one. You might set aside 2 15 or 30-minute blocks, one in the morning and one in the afternoon, dedicated solely to email management. During these blocks, you focus entirely on processing your inbox. Outside of those blocks, your inbox is closed so that you can focus on other tasks without constant interruptions. Time blocking is all about being intentional with your time. It's about deciding in advance how you're going to spend your day rather than letting your day control you. And trust me, once you start implementing this technique, you'll wonder how you ever managed without it. So now that we've covered what time blocking is, let's get into why it's such a powerful technique for entrepreneurs. There are several key benefits that make time blocking my go-to productivity method. And I should mention here that I've been using time blocking for 20 plus years, both in my corporate career and as a solo business owner. Let's start with enhanced focus. One of the biggest advantages of time blocking is the way it sharpens your focus. When you know you have a dedicated block of time for a specific task, it's much easier to dive in and give it your full attention. You're not constantly wondering if you should be doing something else or feeling guilty about neglecting other tasks. You know that everything has its place in your schedule, so you can fully commit to what's right in front of you. Reduced task switching. We've all heard that multitasking is a productivity killer, right? Well, time blocking is the antidote. By assigning specific times for different tasks, you naturally reduce the amount of task switching you do throughout the day. This is crucial because every time you switch tasks, there's a mental cost. Your brain needs time to refocus, and these small delays can add up to a significant loss of productivity over the course of a day. With time blocking, you're giving your brain the opportunity to fully engage with one task before moving on to the next one. Better estimations. One of the hidden benefits of time blocking is that it helps you become better at estimating how long tasks actually take. When you start assigning specific time blocks to tasks, you'll quickly start to see if you're consistently underestimating or overestimating the time needed. Knowing this is helpful for future planning and for creating more realistic schedules and deadlines so that you don't accidentally overbook yourself. Increased accountability. There's something powerful about seeing your day mapped out in time blocks. It creates a sense of commitment and accountability. When you've dedicated a specific time to a task, you're more likely to follow through and complete it. It's like making an appointment with yourself, and we all know how much more likely we are to do something when it's actually scheduled. Reduced stress and overwhelm. Remember that feeling of overwhelm we talked about earlier? Time blocking can significantly reduce that. When you have a clear plan for your day, broken down into manageable chunks, suddenly that mountain of tasks doesn't seem so insurmountable. You know exactly what you need to focus on and when, and that can help you feel calm and in control. Better work-life balance. This might seem counterintuitive, but time blocking can actually help you achieve better work-life balance. How? By making your work time more efficient, you can often get more done in less time. Plus, you can block out time for personal activities, exercise, or family time. That way, you make sure that these important aspects of your life don't get pushed aside by work demands. And by the way, I go deeper into solutions to improve your work-life balance in episode 7. I'll drop a link to that in the show notes. Improved decision-making. When you time block, you're essentially pre-making decisions about how to spend your time. This reduces decision fatigue throughout the day, which leaves you with more mental energy for important business decisions and creative thinking. And if you want to know more about decision fatigue, I talk about that in episode 16. All right, at this point, you're probably wondering how to implement time blocking. So let's walk through it step by step. 1, list your tasks. The first step is to get clear on what you actually need to do. Start by doing a brain dump of all your tasks for the week. Review your calendar check your to-do list, empty your mind of all those mental notes that you've been carrying around. Get it all out on paper or into your favorite digital tool. 2, categorize your tasks. Once you have your list, start grouping similar tasks together. For example, you might have categories like client work, admin tasks, business development, learning and development, and so on. This will help you batch similar tasks together, which can boost your efficiency. 3, estimate task duration. Now, be honest with yourself. How long do these tasks really take? Be realistic in your estimations. If you're not sure, err on the side of caution and allow a little extra time. Don't worry if you're not great at this at first, you'll get better with practice. 4, prioritize. Look at your list and identify your most important tasks and those with looming deadlines. These are the tasks that absolutely must get done. Also, consider which tasks align most closely with your business goals. This step helps ensure you're spending your time on what truly matters. 5, choose your time block duration. Decide how long your time blocks will be. Some people prefer 30-minute blocks. Others work better with 1 hour or even 2-hour blocks. You might even use a mix depending on the task. Personally, I like to work in 45-minute blocks with 15-minute breaks, but you should experiment to find what works best for you. 5, create your time-blocked schedule. Now it's time to start filling in your calendar. Begin with your high-priority tasks and assign them to times when you know that you're at your most productive. For many people, this is in the morning, but you know yourself best. Don't forget to schedule in breaks and include some buffer time between tasks. And yes, schedule in meal breaks as well. No more eating lunch in front of the computer screen. 7, protect your time blocks. Once you've created your schedule, treat those time blocks as you would any important appointment. That means no checking emails during your product development block, no social media scrolling during your client work block. Stay focused on the task that you've assigned to that time. And 8, review and adjust. At the end of each day, take a few minutes to review how your time blocking went. Did you stick to your schedule? Did tasks take longer or shorter than you expected? Use these insights to adjust your approach for the next day. Now that you've got the basics down, let me share a few pro tips that can help you take your time blocking to the next level. 1, start your day right. Begin each day with a quick review of your time-blocked schedule. This mental preparation can set you up for a focused and productive day. 2, use the right tools. While you can time block with a simple paper planner, there are also great digital tools available. I do my time blocking in a Google Sheet, but apps like Asana or Google Calendar can also be fantastic for time blocking. Find a tool that works for you and stick with it. 3, block in buffer time. Life happens and unexpected tasks will crop up. Build in some buffer time between your blocks in case things run long and to deal with those surprise to-dos. 4, don't forget self-care. Make sure to block time for breaks, lunch, and even some physical activity. Taking care of yourself is crucial for maintaining high productivity in the long run. 5, use time tracking. Consider using a time tracking app alongside your time blocking. This can give you valuable data on how you're actually spending your time versus how you think you're spending it. I use Toggle, which is free, and it helps me stay on top of where my time is really going. I'll drop a link to Toggle in the show notes. 6, batch similar tasks. Try to group similar tasks together in your schedule. This reduces the mental energy required to switch between different types of work. 7, be flexible. While it's important to stick to your time blocks as much as possible, don't be so rigid that you can't adapt when truly important things come up. The goal is to be in control of your time, not to be controlled by your schedule. 8, communicate your schedule. Let your team, clients, or family know about your new time blocking system. This can help reduce interruptions and set expectations about your availability. Let them know when you have blocks available to return calls or answer questions. 9, experiment with different techniques. Some people swear by the Pomodoro technique, which is 25 minutes of focused work followed by a 5-minute break. Others prefer longer 90-minute deep work sessions. And like I said earlier, I prefer 45 minutes of focused work with 15-minute breaks. So try out different approaches to find out what works best for you. And 10, celebrate your wins. At the end of each week, take a moment to acknowledge what you've accomplished. Celebrating your progress, no matter how small, can be a great motivator to stick with your new time blocking habit. Now, this episode wouldn't be complete if I didn't address some of the common challenges you might face when implementing time blocking. Don't worry, these are all normal bumps in the road, and I've got some strategies to help you overcome them. Overestimating what you can accomplish. It's common to be overly optimistic about how much you can get done in a day. The solution is to be ruthless when you're prioritizing and to be generous when you're estimating how much time things will take. It's better to accomplish everything on a shorter list than to constantly fall short on an unrealistic one. Interruptions and unexpected tasks. Despite your best efforts, interruptions will happen. The key is to build flexibility into your schedule. Try keeping a couple of 30-minute blocks open each day for reactive time. That way you can handle those unexpected issues. Difficulty sticking to the schedule. If you find yourself consistently ignoring your time blocks, it might be a sign that your schedule isn't realistic or that it doesn't align with your natural rhythms. Try adjusting your blocks to better match your energy levels throughout the day. Procrastination. Sometimes seeing a big block of time dedicated to a large task or project can lead to procrastination. If this happens, try breaking that big block into smaller, more manageable chunks. Instead of a 3-hour block for write business plan, try 3 1-hour blocks for outline business plan, draft financial projections, and write executive summary. Feeling too rigid. Some people feel that time blocking makes their day feel too structured and rigid. If this resonates with you, try leaving some blocks open for flexible work time where you can choose what to focus on in the moment. Remember, the goal of time blocking isn't to create a perfect, unchangeable schedule. It's about making intentional choices about how you spend your time. Be patient with yourself. Adapting to a new way of working takes time, and don't be afraid to adjust your approach as you learn what works best for you. Before we wrap up, I want to emphasize something important. Time blocking isn't about cramming more work into your day or becoming a productivity robot. It's about making the most of the time you have, focusing on what truly matters, and finding that elusive work-life balance that we're all after. By implementing time blocking, you're taking a proactive approach to your day. You're deciding in advance how you want to spend your time rather than reacting to whatever comes your way. This shift in mindset can be incredibly empowering. Remember, like any new habit, time blocking might feel a bit uncomfortable at first. That's okay. Give yourself permission to experiment, adjust, and find a system that works for you. Just be sure to stick with it long enough to see results. Don't give up too soon. I encourage you to give time blocking a try for at least 2 weeks. That's usually long enough to get past the initial adjustment period and start experiencing some of the real benefits. I bet you'll be impressed by how much more you can accomplish and how much less stressed you'll feel. That's all for today, folks. I hope this episode has inspired you to give time blocking a whirl. If you found this helpful, don't forget to subscribe to the podcast and leave a review. And don't forget to grab your free time blocking mistakes guide. You'll find it on the show notes page at tanyakendrick.com/18. Plus, you'll also find links to the other resources mentioned. And finally, remember, your time is your most valuable asset. Invest it wisely. And before you go, if you like what you hear on the Productive Entrepreneur podcast, then come check out the Organized Business Toolbox. It's my monthly membership for solo entrepreneurs who want to feel in control and take imperfect action to move their businesses forward. When you join, you'll get instant access to the Training and Resource Vault, and a new toolbox or course drops every month. Plus, we have monthly Voxer office hours where you can privately ask me questions and get my direct feedback. If that sounds like something you need, the link is in the show notes, or visit tanyakendrick.com, and I'll see you on the inside.